TD Jakes was hanging out at a rapper and f***ing party.
What?
That Puff Daddy helped. He's sitting right there. Old TD Snakes.
Amen.
They there f***ing and everything. TD Snakes right there.
If you thought the Diddy situation couldn't get any stranger, brace yourself, because it's about to get even wilder. Gene Deal just spilled the tea, revealing that even TD Jakes attended Diddy's parties. And now rumors are flying that the feds might have gotten involved with him too.
And anybody who has that kind of government on their shoulders don't have time to be playing with freaks.
Since Diddy's arrest hit the headlines, tons of A-list celebrities have been scrambling to distance themselves, claiming they've never been to his parties. But here's the kicker. What they didn't expect is that Diddy had some serious tapes, and these recordings could blow things wide open. These tapes allegedly show that many celebs were not only at the parties, but were actively involved, doing the same things Diddy did to his victims. And guess who's been linked to Diddy for a long time? Jay-Z. But even more shocking, TD Jakes, one of Diddy's closest pastor friends, is reportedly tangled up in this mess too. We're about to find out everything going on between these three. If you're not familiar with TD Jakes, he's a well-known prosperity preacher, which means he teaches that Jesus was rich and that God wants us to be wealthy too. But unlike Jesus, you won't often see Bishop Jakes hanging out with the poor or less fortunate. Instead, he's more likely to be found rubbing shoulders with presidents, celebrities, and billionaires. And one of his closest celebrity friends is none other than Diddy. Now, people have been talking for years suggesting that their friendship might be more than what it seems. Some even wonder if there's something going on behind the scenes. The rumors about TD Jakes being involved in secretive relationships really picked up steam in 2009 when his son, Jermaine Jakes, was arrested for indecent exposure. Jermaine, who was 29 at the time, was caught by undercover Dallas police officers at Kiest Park. According to the arrest report, Jermaine walked up to two undercover vice detectives with his pants unzipped and began to while making eye contact with one of them. The officers arrested him on the spot for indecent exposure. Although he was detained at the scene, he was later released. It's pretty ironic though, because while his father TD Jakes preaches about goodness and righteousness, his son was caught doing something entirely the opposite. It kind of makes you question everything, doesn't it? As for Diddy and TD Jakes, their connection runs deep. Diddy even asked Jakes to officiate the funeral of his ex, Kim Porter, after she passed away. Jakes posted a tribute to Kim on Instagram, speaking about the deep love Diddy had for her. He encouraged people to remember the blessing of having experienced such love, even in the midst of grief. But here's where it gets complicated. While Jakes paints love in a positive light, the stories surrounding Diddy's treatment of Kim tell a much darker tale. Allegations of control and mistreatment cast a shadow over Diddy and Kim's relationship, making you wonder if the love Jakes praised was as pure as he believed. There are serious allegations that Diddy was equally aggressive towards Kim, with reports of him controlling her, beating her, and even breaking her nose. And if you listen to Diddy's former bodyguard, he says Diddy treated Kim just like he treated Cassie. So if we consider Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy, it's not hard to imagine that Kim might have endured similar suffering.
I didn't know Cassie, but I knew somebody who was going through the same thing she was going through, and that was Kim Porter.
And given the recent news of 120 alleged victims coming forward, it's deeply unsettling to hear claims that Kim Porter didn't face mistreatment. In case you haven't been following, attorneys announced last week that they plan to file at least 120 lawsuits on behalf of people who say they were SA'd by Sean Diddy Combs and his associates. During a press conference, Houston attorney Tony Busby, alongside SA victim advocates and co-counsel Andrew Van Arsdale from Ava Law Group, shared that many of these victims have already spoken to law enforcement, including the FBI. The attorneys are now gathering police reports and medical records from hospitals to build their cases. Some of the victims had illegal substances found in their systems after seeking medical attention following the mistreatment, according to Busby. One substance that repeatedly showed up in the victims' tests was xyloline, also known as Trang, a non-opioid sedative. Many of these victims were reportedly too afraid to speak out until Diddy's arrest by the federal authorities in September, where he pleaded not guilty. Busby explained they fear backlash in their communities, within their families, and retaliation from the perpetrators or their associates. Their concerns for their personal safety are real. He also mentioned that through this legal process, a lot of powerful people and hidden secrets will likely be exposed.
New and disturbing accusations against Sean Diddy Combs. A Texas attorney tonight says he now represents 120 alleged victims, men and women, whose allegations span more than 30 years. The accounts of the alleged victims have not been fully vetted, but their accusations involve the kind of fueled alleged sexual assaults described in a dozen civil lawsuits and the criminal case against Combs.
It's also worth noting that more than 3,000 people have contacted the attorneys about potential mistreatment, but they are just currently representing 120 accusers from over 25 states, with a majority living in California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. Andrew Van Arsdale shared that many of the victims feel more comfortable coming forward now because Diddy's arrest has lessened his control and influence over their lives. Busby revealed that the alleged victims are about evenly split between men and women, with 62% identifying as African American, 30% as white, and the rest as either Asian or Hispanic. While each case is unique, a disturbing pattern has emerged. Many victims claim they were lured into situations where their drinks were spiked at parties, and then they were essayed by Diddy or his associates while others watched. One 22-year-old victim recalled that refusing a drink at these events often meant being kicked out of the party. These incidents reportedly took place at auditions, album release events, and Diddy's infamous all-white parties held at popular venues in New York City. Many of those who reached out to Sean Diddy Combs or his associates after experiencing mistreatment were met with threats of being killed or financial consequences. Attorney Tony Busby added that some of the individuals who witnessed or helped facilitate the incidents are publicly known figures.
Any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it, but did nothing to report it or stop it, and any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now.
Even more disturbing is that at least 25 of the alleged victims were minors when the incidents occurred, with the youngest being just 9 years old. Busby shared that this child had been brought to New York by Combs' record label, Bad Boy Records, for an audition, only to be essayed at the studio by Combs and his associates. The boy was promised a record deal for both himself and his parents, according to Busby. The lawsuits will be filed individually against Combs, but Busby mentioned that corporate entities, including banks, pharmaceutical companies, and hotels that profited from the mistreatment might also be named in these cases. Now, it's essential to understand that these rumors have been circulating long before the lawsuits and Diddy's arrest hit the headlines. Diddy has always been viewed as one of the most controversial figures in the entertainment industry. Yet despite knowing the wild stories that swirl around Diddy's infamous parties, T.D. Jakes never turned down an invitation to join the festivities. This raises some eyebrows, especially considering the whispers about what really goes down after midnight. It's hard to ignore the fact that many people, including high-profile personalities, seem to overlook the unsettling details in favor of fame, fortune, and the allure of the celebrity lifestyle. And when Jaguar Wright was asked why she thinks T.D. Jakes is always at Diddy's parties, she had a lot to say.
But for him to be at a Diddy party? I don't know. Like, I feel the same way about that as I feel about when Tyler Perry came to his church and laid hands on him and he caught the Holy Spirit from Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is the bishop of what?
Jaguar wasn't off the mark when she discussed the Tyler Perry situation back in 2013. During a ceremony that felt eerily reminiscent of something from Eyes Wide Shut, T.D. Jakes received a prayer from Tyler, followed shortly after by a hefty $1 million check from Perry. This raises eyebrows about the nature of their relationship and the kind of influence they wield in the industry. Fast forward to July 2021, and the partnership between Diddy and T.D. Jakes took an interesting turn when they announced plans to bring Jakes' sermons to Diddy's cable TV network, Revolt. In a call where they shared this news, Diddy opened up about how Jakes helped him navigate through a particularly dark chapter in his life. He reflected on losing everything: his girlfriend, the mother of his children, and his best friend, Andre. Diddy mentioned that watching and listening to Jakes gave him a renewed sense of hope. However, the connection between a figure who claims to be a man of God and someone who faces serious allegations raises significant red flags. It prompts questions about the authenticity of spiritual guidance when it comes from someone who socially mingles with alleged wrongdoers. One fan even said, "T.D. Jakes is religious for that green. It's all about the money for that foo." Now, there's also some rumor going around that T.D. Jakes not only participated in Diddy's infamous FOs, but also hosted gatherings related to what some are calling a secret society. This idea isn't just a fleeting thought among fans. It's gaining traction in various circles, especially considering the unusual events surrounding these gatherings. Mace, The rapper-turned-pastor, who has been vocal about his struggles with Diddy over publishing rights, shares this belief as well. He's been through a long battle with Diddy, who has dismissed his claims and even tried to undermine Mace's image, labeling him a fake pastor. Mace argues that while Diddy casts doubt on his legitimacy, he's looking to T.D. Jakes for spiritual guidance. A clear contradiction. Mace asserts that they are being manipulated by the devil, raising serious questions about the authenticity of their spiritual endeavors.
Every step on how to deal with Puff biblically. I dealt with him biblically. I reached out to his bishop. His bishop declined to mediate the situation. So why should we keep these same gatekeepers who have done nothing but exploited us?
Now, considering all that's been said, it has come to light that the feds have some wild footage showing T.D. Jakes and Diddy engaged in some questionable activities. Adding to the mounting tension, one of Diddy's new accusers reportedly told the FBI that a particular figure, whose identity would shock many, has also been involved with some unsavory people.
Floored, I was shocked, and it was apparent to me that some type of cover-up is going on. The Orinda police are in violation of federal law, and I will make sure if they want to be the next facing a lawsuit, they can be the next.
As this information circulated, a lot of speculation emerged about who this figure might be. Two names have consistently come up in conversations: T.D. Jakes and none other than Jay-Z. Even Jaguar Wright recently stepped into the spotlight with some shocking claims that have left many reeling. During her appearance on Piers Morgan's Uncensored, she suggested that Beyoncé and Jay-Z are hiding some dark secrets, alleging that they are keeping bodies in their home for creepy rituals. But that's just the beginning. Jaguar also claimed that Jay-Z has been secretly collaborating with federal authorities for years, possibly to save his own skin by throwing others like Diddy under the bus.
You've been called a whistleblower. You knew Sean Diddy Combs for a long time. You attended a number of his infamous parties. And in 2022, you made headlines after comments where you called him a and in response, you were called crazy and jealous. Do you feel vindicated by the events of the last few weeks?
No, not at all. Because he's just the beginning. Until him and his cohorts are all held to account publicly and legally.
This was Jaguar's first big moment on national TV, and she didn't hold back. According to her, Jay-Z has been funding investigations into high-profile figures like R. Kelly, and now Diddy, likely to divert attention from his own questionable actions. She insists that she has 3 victims ready to testify in court about what Jay-Z and Beyoncé allegedly did to them, claiming that the couple would intoxicate people until they passed out and then transport them to their home to exploit them. Jaguar went even further, alleging that there are bodies hidden at Beyoncé and Jay-Z's residence, and that Jay-Z played a role in the tragic death of Aaliyah. She pointed out that Dream Hampton, who led the Surviving R. Kelly campaign that fueled the #MeToo movement, was allegedly funded by Jay-Z to ensure that R. Kelly faced justice. According to Jaguar, this was all part of a larger scheme, as she emphasized that the couple is involved in disturbing activities, including holding people against their will and transporting them on planes while unconscious, much like Aaliyah when she boarded that fateful flight. Jaguar firmly believes that Diddy will reveal shocking truths in court during his trial, suggesting that anyone who thinks otherwise is not paying attention. She also raised eyebrows about the silence of the #MeToo movement during Diddy's downfall, questioning why haven't they spoken up if their cause is genuinely rooted in justice. Interestingly, a buzz has been growing about Beyoncé's new song Daughter from her album Cowboy Carter. In this track, she dives into some deep, intense feelings after finding out someone was cheating with her husband. The lyrics are vivid and graphic, hinting at dark themes that have fans talking. In the song, Beyoncé addresses how she's seen as a sweet, innocent figure, while admitting she's got a darker side, much like her father. Here's a glimpse of the lyrics. Your body laid out on these filthy floors. Your bloodstains on my custom couture. Bathroom attendant, let me right in. She was a big fan. I really tried to stay cool, but your arrogance deserves my solitude. Now I've ripped your dress, and you're all black and blue. Look what you made me do. Some fans are speculating that these lines might be a secret confession about Jay-Z's late mistress, Kathy White. The official story says Kathy died of a brain aneurysm, but Jaguar Wright, a vocal figure in this drama, claims that Jay-Z and Beyoncé had a hand in her death. Jaguar dropped some shocking claims last year, stating that Kathy's supposed brain aneurysm was a cover-up for something much darker. She argues that when Beyoncé found out about Jay's affair, she pressured him to take extreme action against Kathy. According to Jaguar, Kathy didn't deserve what happened to her, and her last few moments were filled with fear, suggesting that the Carters share the blame, even if in different ways. Investigative journalist Hollywood Street King looked into Kathy's death and found that the NYPD initially thought it was suspicious. He received a tip about an ambulance being called from Kathy's apartment and how she was pronounced dead at the hospital. Reports expected from the autopsy hinted at foul play, especially since Kathy had reportedly reached out to tabloids about her relationship with Jay just before her tragic end. But Kathy isn't the only woman caught in this web of drama. Other names like Foxy Brown and Aaliyah have surfaced with their own alarming stories. Many women in the industry claim they faced harsh consequences for crossing Jay-Z, with some even fearing for their lives. Foxy Brown hasn't held back either. She's spoken about her experiences accusing Jay-Z of sabotaging her career out of jealousy over Beyoncé's success. She even alleged that Jay-Z gave her an intimate disease when she was just 15, which paints a troubling picture of his character.
Jay-Z was putting that harsh when she was 15, 16. She said the man got a harsh. That's what that little girl said. She said Jay-Z got a heart.
When it comes to Aaliyah, rumors have long suggested that Jay-Z was involved in her tragic plane crash. People say she was heavily intoxicated when she got on the flight, leading to her untimely death. Some believe Jay-Z may have played a role in her being on that plane. Before he was with Beyoncé, he had strong feelings for Aaliyah. His obsession seemed to push him to keep her close, even putting her in risky situations. It wasn't just love motivating his actions, though. After Aaliyah's tough time with R. Kelly, Jay-Z continued to pursue her, even when she was with his friend Dame Dash. Reports say he tried to woo Aaliyah with gifts, but she made it clear she wasn't interested. This rejection supposedly hurt Jay deeply, leading him to take revenge on Dame's career. In an interview, Dame Dash shared some details about the fallout from Jay-Z's pursuit of Aaliyah, hinting at the messy dynamics that have long haunted these relationships.
I took Jay-Z and shopped him to every single label, and they all said no. I wouldn't have been so generous with Jay. It was more friendship for me and money for him. But he did things that I thought he would never do.
Interestingly, a viral TikTok video has sparked fresh discussions online about a strange connection between the birthdays of music moguls Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Diddy. The video points out that Jay-Z was born December 4th, Beyoncé on September 4th, and Diddy on November 4th, emphasizing the reoccurring number 4 in their lives. It also mentions Jay-Z's 2017 album, 444, and a party Diddy threw on July 4th, 2020. This has led some users on X to wonder what this number really means. Additionally, Dame Dash has also raised eyebrows by questioning why his former business partner turned adversary. Jay-Z hasn't said anything about the serious allegations against Diddy. After all, Diddy has become a controversial figure in the media following these accusations. Dame expressed disappointment at the thought that Jay-Z could somehow be linked to Diddy's troubling and possibly illegal actions, especially considering their personal history and Jay's relationship with Dame's eldest son, Boogie Dash. Dame shared his thoughts saying, "As much as he's been unfair to me, or maybe not unfair," referring to their ongoing legal battle over Dame's ownership stake in Rockefeller Records and Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt album, he added, "The way he's been messing with my money, I want to hope that's the worst he's been doing." That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, please like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos like this.